So I did a general, just self message, a love message, and now I want to talk about money. So let's talk about money, shall we? Because I would love to talk about money. I know some people are like, no, Luna, I don't want to talk about money unless you want to talk about how we can work together to help money grow. Then I want to talk about money. I see where this is an opportunity coming up for you. You have an opportunity to communicate with someone who is in what looks to me like a similar place than you, although rather than being in the similar place with you, they're more so a little bit behind you. I would say you do have a little bit more experience in the growth department than what they do, but this person does have, some ideas, some ways of looking at things, that it's like maybe the way that they just see these things differently isn't necessarily a bad thing. Your eyes may just be closed to it, sort of focusing more so on, the ways that have worked for you in the past rather than new potentials of things. It's the if it's not broke, don't fix it sort of mindset, which is totally understandable. But sometimes just because things aren't broken doesn't mean that, they couldn't use some love to, feel like they could keep up and last a little bit longer, upgrades, general maintenance. So, um, I feel as though this opportunity with this person will come somewhere around the next 6 to 7 weeks. It will help greatly with your progress financially. So if you have been, making certain investments in things that you're, hoping are going to pay off, maybe you are hoping for a new job opportunity to come. There is just something here about this conversation really helping you to progress in certain areas that you've already got things started for. So let me see if anything else wants to come out. Okay. The Hierophant and Judgment. So, darling, we have got to give ourselves a little bit of grace sometimes when we maybe need to allow some self forgiveness for times that we have overspent, maybe didn't budget as well, or, maybe we made a decision with money that we would have hoped we would have reconsidered a little bit, instead of just, committing to something right off the bat. This reminds me of when I just took my kiddo to Guitar Center to buy things for his drums. And he was like, I need this stand and I need this type of cymbal. And the guy just brought up the first option and he was good to go because it was the amount of money that he had. And I said, can I just ask you just, to humor me, darling, just for a hot second and, pull up the options so we can see. He ended up walking out with two stands and the cymbal and two other items as well. Speaking of kiddo on the drums, I think he's getting started to practice. So I'm going to wrap this up by saying basically, sometimes, we do make that decision to kind of go right into it. But other times, it really does pay off if you sit and just kind of take a moment to really think about that commitment before making it. And when you can't, know that it's okay to allow yourself to say, hey, you know what, you did the best that you could in the moment with what you had. That's all you can do, right?